Hello there. My name is Jasom Jensai. Welcome to another episode of Star Wars Duels. This video will be Kanan Jarrus versus Ahsoka Tano. Star Wars Duels is a series where I pretend two Star Wars characters fight, and I explain what I think would happen and why by analyzing their fighting style, personality, and raw power. The battlefield for this duel will be Kashyyyk. Obviously, it would not be an even battle if Kanan were to fight Ahsoka at the time they were both in the rebellion. So this battle will take Ahsoka before she leaves the Order and compare her to Kanan just before his death. Will Ahsoka be victorious, or will Kanan be her doom? Kanan Jarrus is a very powerful Jedi. He's a survivor of the Great Jedi Purge. However, he struggled with fear. When Kanan first encountered the Grand Inquisitor, he wildly attacked the Inquisitor and was easily knocked aside. But when the Inquisitor finally attacked Kanan, he was able to defend himself fairly well. The Inquisitor said that Kanan was relying on Form 3 to a ridiculous degree. Form 3 is defensive. This lines up very well with Kanan's emotional state. Although he survived Order 66, he was emotionally scarred. Kanan's fear caused him to rely on his defense. Luckily, he had been trained by Deepa Billaba, a master of Form 3. In his final fight with the Inquisitor, Kanan overcomes his fear and begins to see the fight differently. Instead of a fight for survival, it is a fight for balance. Kanan is constantly using his terrain to cover himself and threaten his enemy's balance. Instead of retreating, he steps into or around his opponent to control their movement. He uses everything around him, not just his lightsaber. After he was blinded by Maul, Kanan was filled with doubt and fear again. But after Kanan met the Bendu and learned to see things differently, he overcame his fear. Kanan was a frightened boy at the end of the Clone Wars. He was frightened after being blinded, but in the end, he was brave enough to face even death. Kanan's physicality is about average. He tends to rely more on his skill than his speed or his strength. Rather than lock blades with the Inquisitor, or strike high before quickly striking the Inquisitor's feet out from under him, Kanan stabbed his blades into the Inquisitor's hilt. Kanan's blindness seems like a hindrance, but this has caused him to see things differently. Just like Short Imwe's blindness, Kanan's reliance on the Force allows him to use it more effectively. Rather than focusing on his opponent or their weapons, Kanan lets the Force guide him. With the Force as a guide, Kanan's reflexes are incredible. Kanan uses the physical side of the Force as a last resort. Although his first instinct is to use his lightsaber, Kanan's Force powers are more powerful than most Jedi. After Kanan freed Hera, Governor Pryce blew up all the fuel in Lothal City to try and finally get rid of the rebels. But Kanan used the Force to hold back the entire explosion long enough for the rest of the rebels to escape. Holding back that much power is impressive, but the most impressive thing Kanan accomplishes is lifting a Geonosian bridge, which is made out of stone. Kanan uses the Force as a last resort, but he is very powerful. Although Kanan used to be filled with fear and doubt, he has discovered something far stronger than fear: the Force. With the Force flowing through him and guiding him, Kanan can see the world around him in a unique way. Because of his connection to the Force, Kanan has incredible reflexes and uses his environment much more effectively. Although he prefers his lightsaber, the Force is a blunt but powerful tool in Kanan's arsenal. Kanan Jarrus is a fearless and powerful Jedi Knight. Ahsoka Tano is an agile to Groot Jedi. She holds her lightsabers backward, which leads to a very costly loss of reach, less defensive posture, and no benefits. To make up for this deadly weakness, Ahsoka incorporates acrobatics into her dueling, which costs her even more defense and is difficult to sustain for long battles. Because of her lack of defense, Ahsoka has nothing to fall back on if she is attacked, other than retreating. Thankfully, she doesn't use the reverse grip all the time, but it costs her lots of options. Ahsoka's strategy is to attack so that she is not attacked. If an opponent retreats, she will eagerly follow them up to gain the advantage. Allow Thrawn to explain the faults in this strategy.
Enemies seldom seek out their opponents. The warrior must become a hunter, searching and stalking with craft and patience. Successes are often achieved by a confluence of small things, stray facts, unwary or overheard conversations, logistical vectors. If the hunter is persistent, the pattern will become visible, and the enemy will be found. Only then will the routine be broken by combat. It's not surprising, therefore, but those seeking excitement sometimes weary of long and arduous pursuits. They are relieved when the enemy appears of his own accord, standing firm and issuing a challenge. But the wise warrior is especially wary at those times. He knows there are few things more dangerous than a skilled enemy on his own carefully chosen ground.
Although it is better to be cautious, Ahsoka's speed combined with her relentlessness sometimes allow her to catch her opponents off guard and overwhelm them before a trap can be sprung. Ahsoka is small and she uses a very intense fighting style. However, she is not as weak as she looks. At one point during the Clone Wars, Ahsoka was captured by Trandoshans and hunted for sport. During this time, she was disarmed and constantly on the run. Despite the circumstances, she was able to defeat the lead Trandoshan. Although she relied mostly on her speed and agility, she demonstrated her incredible strength a few times. At one point, the Trandoshan pulled out a knife and brought it down to finish her off, but she threw up her hands and held his arm back for a second. However, strength is not her strong point. Ahsoka is very fast. While fighting the Trandoshan, she was able to evade most of his attacks by rolling, flipping, or deflecting. She was even able to dodge point-blank blaster fire. Despite her intense use of acrobatics and speed, she rarely slows down due to fatigue. Ahsoka has endurance, strength, and a ton of speed. Unlike most Jedi, Ahsoka does not use the Force as a last resort. She used the Force Push 4 times during her fight with the Trandoshan. Ahsoka will often use a Force Push right before impact to throw off her opponent's balance, so that she can finish them off with her lightsabers. While she never lifts an X-Wing or holds up several tons of rocks, Ahsoka's quick thinking allows her to unbalance and finish off her enemies with her Force powers. Ahsoka is very fast, with her Force abilities and physical abilities. Her strategy is usually just to attack really fast until she wins. Most opponents are knocked off balance by her simple strategy and quick thinking. Ahsoka and Kanan are on Kashyyyk. They are separated only by a bridge. Ahsoka charges towards Kanan as she ignites her lightsabers. Kanan calmly ignites his saber and takes up a defensive posture. Just before she reaches Kanan, Ahsoka extends her hand and force pushes Kanan backward. Kanan falls to the ground but quickly rolls to his feet. As he rises, Ahsoka attacks. Kanan backs away, barely defending himself, until Ahsoka brings her blades down in a double crosscut. Kanan catches the blades and pushes back. Ahsoka flips away and regroups. They probably say a few words at this point, but I don't want to do an Ahsoka impression, for obvious reasons. Ahsoka lunges forward and begins her attack. Kanan steps to the side and guides Ahsoka's attacks to his left before lunging forward and knocking her over the edge of the platform. Ahsoka drops her sabers on the platform, catches herself on the edge, and flips over Kanan's head. As she lands, she pulls her lightsabers back to her hands. Ahsoka charges at Kanan and tries to force him over the edge, but Kanan predicts that and turns to the side. As Ahsoka attacks again, Kanan backs toward the bridge, connecting to the next platform. On the bridge, Ahsoka's footing is less stable and she can no longer jump as easily. In addition, with less ground to either side, it is harder to outflank Kanan. Despite this, Ahsoka is still driving Kanan back, until he gets to the end of the bridge. Kanan steps onto the firm footing of the platform, but holds his ground so that Ahsoka remains on the bridge. Ahsoka loses all her momentum and Kanan slashes the bridge apart from the platform. Ahsoka jumps and barely grabs onto the edge, but she loses her sabers. Kanan Jarrus stands over her, lightsaber pointed at her head as she hangs on the edge of the platform, completely helpless. Ahsoka has talent. She is a commander, a warrior, and a padawan. But Kanan is a Jedi Knight. Kanan has experienced the Clone Wars, the Jedi Purge, the Rebellion, and even blindness, and experience outranks everything. So with that, thanks for listening to what I think about Kanan Jarrus versus Ahsoka Tano. If you liked the video, hit like and subscribe for more content. Tell me in the comments, who do you think would win? When do you think Dave Filoni will make a Season 5 of Rebels? And what is your favorite capital class ship? May the Force be with you.